Hey guys, it's Lena, and today I've decided to share 5 tips what not to take with you when you're going to a journey when you're going to travel. And today we will be talking about shoes. So categories of shoes that you should forget at home or you should leave at home and never ever put in your suitcase. So let's start. First category is new shoes. So brand new shoes have the tendency of being very uncomfortable or relatively uncomfortable because sometimes or almost every time the reality is that you need to break into those shoes. So and you, of course, there are some exceptions. For example, I personally own 2 pairs of wonderful summer sneakers that are comfortable just from the minute one. But uh, I'm blessed. I was blessed finding them, but it's not the case. So, for example, let's just say you bought a pair of brand new shiny sneakers and you are going on a vacation, for example, in 2 weeks, and you decided not to wear them beforehand because you need them to be in mint condition. You need them to be perfectly white, perfectly clean, like brand new, crisp new. And so what you decide to do is just put them in the box, store them until you're going to put them in your suitcase. And this is the worst decision because when you wear them at home, where when you put them on at the store, for example, you felt perfectly fine, but during the day normally, especially if you're going to walk quite a bit, if you're going to spend more than like 4 hours wearing those shoes, your feet will swell and they will sweat actually as well. So every almost every shoe becomes a bit uncomfortable because your feet are tired, your feet are wet and sweaty, especially when it's very hot outside. But you won't know about these details if you never wear the shoes beforehand. So my advice to you is, of course, you want them to be brand new, but just create some 2 free crash tests, or just wear them out, test them out in your hometown, in your city, before you take them on a journey with you, because you want them to be your best companion, not to be a stranger. You want them to be your friend. So you want your feet to get acquainted with your new shoes and vice versa. So, for example, what I did for my new shoes that I knew I was going to take with me, I just went for a walk wearing them, and it was a good weather, not very dirty one, of course, if you don't want them to be dirty, to get dirty. So, and I just, and during that walk, I realized that I had some problems with my pinky toe, that um, it wasn't feeling very well. It hurt quite a bit. So I needed to take some action. And by the way, if you want to know how to stretch out your new shoes or just any shoe that needed to be stretched, just I will link a video about it somewhere in the description if I don't forget. And if I do forget, you will easily find it in my life hack playlist in my channel. So yeah. So first tip: never ever wear a new pair of shoes on your vacation. So this shouldn't be this should be out of question totally. And from the first tip to the second, um, you don't really need a pair of uncomfortable shoes on your vacation. So maybe some of you, or well, just to be honest, many of us girls have a pair of beloved but so uncomfortable shoes, especially high heels, but about it later. So maybe you don't think that in your hometown the roads are perfect, and of course where you're going it will be perfect. So believe me, if you're comfortable wearing them at home or during more than 2 hours, you will be uncomfortable wearing them during your vacation, and it will be just a waste of space in your suitcase and a big waste of your nerves. Because if you take only shoes that are very uncomfortable or just relatively uncomfortable, believe me, you will either have two choices: to be miserable during all of the days of your vacation, or you will have to buy a new pair. And of course, we all know sometimes you can get very good deals, you can find a gem during your holiday, but most of the times you are just stuck with cheap shiny Chinese um, things that are just ugly, or they will break very easily, and that will cost you an extra buck or so. So to recap, first one, don't take your new shoes with you, and the second, don't take an uncomfortable one on your vacation. Or two, maybe you have an idea to take the whole like extra special fancy wardrobe. I don't know. So, and the third tip, and this is especially for you girls who like high heels, I highly recommend leaving them at home, because even if you are a champion, like high heel walking champion, I can assure you, especially if you're going to travel to Europe, the roads there are not comfortable for heels. They are not designed for heels. You will break them. You will damage them very seriously because of the pavement, because it's a stone pavement. It's a not even surface, and it's not very comfortable. It is, in fact, this is highly uncomfortable walking. If you're wearing any kind of heel, especially high heel. So if you can't live without heels, maybe consider bringing some mid-high heel, or just smaller one, or a steadier one, a thicker one, and just think about this, like really consider. Or if you have a ton of space in your suitcase, consider taking a more comfortable pair with you also, just in case, and you'll thank me later. So, and for number 4 is that do not take a pair of shoes or a few pairs of shoes that are too bulky. So there is a tip among travelers community that the bulkiest clothes you have, or the bulkiest shoes you have, do put on while you travel. So during your flight, or during your train or bus ride. And although this is a good tip, but if the climate is not quite correct for your outfit, believe me, you will feel miserable. For example, recently I traveled for my holiday to quite warm destination. So it was very hot. in fact. And the city I'm from, I was going from. It was very hot also, but I wasn't sure about the weather because I was going to travel for a few weeks. So I decided to take something like more, something for a little bit colder weather or if it rained. So according to this advice, wearing the bulkiest, I would have to wear. I would have worn the bulkiest items, so the warmest, the thickest items of my clothes and shoes, but I would be miserable because it was very hot, like plus 35 degrees Celsius, and there it was even hotter. So me wearing very thick sneakers, very like trousers and sweater, it really felt impossible, impossible, impossible. It really felt just not right. So in my case, although I was going to take a pair of brand new, very nice, shiny white sneakers with me because they had very bulky sole and they are quite bulky. They are not heavy, but they occupy a lot of space in my suitcase. I decided against them and I just took a pair of very lightweight sneakers, leather sneakers in case it rained or in case it would be cold. This way I ensured myself that I would be comfortable during my trip and I would be comfortable whatever the weather was. So, my advice to you, if you absolutely love platforms or high heels, but you also want to save some money and you don't want to take a huge suitcase and you want to travel light, you want to travel with carry-on, consider buying and having in your collection, in your wardrobe, more minimalist shoes. So shoes with thinner sole, less heavier shoes. So something like that. I think you get the idea. And the fifth and the finest of today's video is never ever buy a pair of shoes that goes only with one particular look. Of course, again, if you have a huge suitcase and you are going to take some 7 pairs of shoes with you, you can allow yourself this frivolous choice. But to me, this seems like not the best idea ever. Because, for example, imagine you are going to a fancy restaurant and you have a dress for that particular restaurant, and of course, um, I never recommend taking a very bulky anything for just one special occasion. Or say you are going to a trip with, for example, first it will be a wedding and then just a trip, just a holiday, and you know that you need a fancy look. I highly recommend that you won't take any extremely bulky or one occasion shoes. So to me, to replace, for example, a special like just one time, one occasion fancy shoe, I would rather take some sandals, fancier sandals or ballerinas if they go well with my outfit. So you get the idea, or even just, for example, imagine that you are just going on a holiday and you have this one dress or one like suit, and you know that this particular pair of shoes only go well with that dress or that costume, that suit. So, and you don't want to waste your suitcase space taking this very particular, very special pair of shoes, believe me. So for example, me personally, I prefer when I'm buying something, I think about these situations because I travel quite often. So I prefer buying something lightweight, something bendy, something comfortable, something that can go well with almost everything in my closet, because you never know, for example, that you have imagine, you take three, normally the bare minimum for me is 3 pairs of shoes. And for example, you take flip-flops for beach and shower, you take sandals, and you take some sneakers. And for example, sandals and flip-flops are in your backpack or your small suitcase, and sneakers are on you. And imagine if something is to happen to your flip-flops. Of course, you can go ahead and buy new ones, a pair of new ones, or maybe you can just make do and wear your sandals. And in the case that if, for example, you have a very fancy pair of sandals, it won't be the best idea. But if you just have, for example, recently I purchased this pair of sandals. As you can see, they're very lightweight. They occupy almost no space, and they can be dressed up and dressed down very, very easily. So you get my idea. And if something is to happen to your sneakers, it will be comfortable to travel back in your sandals. Not so fancy high-heeled sandals. So just to recap, 5 tips of what not to take with you when you travel, if you want to travel light, of course, and less stress. So first tip is never ever take anything that is brand new shoes, I mean. About clothes we will talk later, maybe in another video. So don't take anything that is not 100% comfortable. Never take anything that is very high-heeled or even mid-heeled if you are not comfortable wearing heels. Don't take anything very bulky because it will occupy a lot of space in your suitcase. And finally, the 5th one, do not take any pair of shoes if it goes only with one outfit. So these were my 5 tips about what not to take with you on your vacation or while you travel, if you want to travel light and comfortable. So if you enjoyed this video, please like it and consider subscribing to my channel. Do let me know in the comments if you have any other tips, and we'll see each other very, very soon. Bye bye.